Jerry Lee Lewis?
No, it's Chuck Lee Lewis. Chuckle my berry. Go ahead.
Jerry, we're doing a film about Chuck Berry, and you two really are the pioneers. We did Little Richard in this film, but the three of you really were the ones that started this thing out. What was it like at that period? In the early 50s with this music, did you think it would last?
It was great, Killer. It was the beginning of a whole new, like 1953, for instance, up to 1960. After that, it went downhill. But it's coming back. I knew it would. I couldn't get out of it. But Chuck Berry is the greatest rock and roll singer in the world. Little Richard is too. Jerry Lee Lewis, I don't know about.
When you first...
Went over big, didn't it?
When did you first meet Chuck Berry?
I never have met him. I first met Chuck 1957 in New York City, Paramount Theater. No, I wasn't either. I'd done a 56-day tour with him, and it got so ridiculous that he wanted to fight me. When we got in a fight, that's when we become friends. He whooped my butt.
Why do you want to fight you?
He said he was king of rock and roll, and I said I was. And he said he was, and he proved he was. I didn't argue with him no more.
What do you think was distinctive about Chuck's...
Talent. God-given talent. Charisma. He has a certain... Chuck Berry is the greatest. He's the Hank Williams of rock and roll.
That's something for you to say.
Sir?
That's something for you to say, though.
Well, it's the truth. I'm only a piano player. Me and Charlie Rich.
In that time when you were... where did this sound come from? Where did this music come from?
My third wife. No, the music from Faraday, Louisiana. From a little Assembly of God church, Pentecostal church. That's where it come from. Elvis Presley and Jerry Lee Lewis. That's your basics of rock and roll. Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Fats Domino, Pete Fountain. He's great on clarinet. Here's to you, Pete. Go ahead.
When this music came out and people started listening to it and they started buying records, did you think it was going to last? To today be the...
Well, I knew it was going to last, for me. I don't know why I haven't had a hit in years, but I knew it was going to last. No, I've done pretty good for myself. IRS has too. Between my wives, IRS, Chuck Berry, and Elvis Presley, and Little Richard, and all them, I've done pretty good. I come out with about $1. I'm breathing, but I am the rockinest mother humper you have ever seen in your life when I get on that stage. I'll probably pass out tonight.
Have the audiences changed?
Yeah, they died away. The new one. I've seen three generations come and go, mostly go. Are you talking to me or him?
Talking to you.
Well, I know, but he was talking, distracting me. I'm just playing killer. But what were you saying about...
About the audiences? Do they...
Audiences have changed completely. I have renovated them all the way. Now, my audience is my life. They come first. And then I come.
The audiences, when you first started, were very young. How was it in a sense when...
So young, I had to marry one of them. God. Edit this out right. The audience was very young, but very tempting. And let me explain that. They were very wild. And they said that I was corrupting the youth of America. And here come Nixon. Took all the dope off the market. Me and Elvis wasn't that bad of people. We were a little squirrely maybe, but we liked the women. My God, if he made anything, or created anything better than a lady, he kept it for himself, didn't he? Why am I talking about women anyway? I must be horny. If you're listening to me, baby, it's not true. If you send this to my wife, I'm dead. Send it to her. I want a deal on this.
Tell me, at the time when you went out, what is the sound? What was the distinct sound of rock and roll, do you think? What made it different than other music?
I did. I made rock and roll different. It was rockabilly up until I come out with a whole lot of shaking going on. Then they called it rock and roll. Up to then it was rhythm and blues and rockabilly. You know, all that stuff. I said, come on over, baby. Whole lot of shaking going on. Stand it in one little spot and wiggle it around a little bit. They banded my record. I said, well, hell, he said, I was cursing in the record. I did. I didn't think nothing about it. Where I come from, people curse. But not on record. Like my first wife, you know, she said, Jerry Lee, you ought to put out one of these records with a little bitty record with a big hole in the middle of it. We had never seen a 45 record. I said, you must be crazy, baby. They don't make them like that. They have a little bitty hole. 2 weeks later, I saw one.
How did you feel when you did a record, it went out, and it became a hit? How did you feel when you first heard it on the jukebox?
Felt with my fingers, but I felt great when I heard my record played on the air for the first time. I couldn't believe it. But anything could sound that bad. I said, my God, they have unleashed somebody. I didn't know it was me. No, I knew it was me. But it was just me and piano instead of drums. Crazy Arms. Sold 300,000 records on it. Wasn't very much. But then we come with a whole lot of shaking going on. And boy, he's a bad boy. Evil. I wouldn't know how to be evil. Watch me get out of this one. Now, what were you saying about Chuck Berry?
I was saying, but in terms of this, does it, you know, when you
He's digging for something, isn't he?
No, I'm interested. You
want to get to be honest preacher, don't you?
when you came out with your records and they turned around and attacked you and said he's evil, did that hurt?
Is them girls still in there? What did you say?
Did that hurt when?
I ain't nothing hurt me. I'm hurtless. You couldn't hurt me if you hurt me. May break my heart, but you couldn't hurt me.
I mean, you got a lot of headlines and press, and you know, it was nice to be the bad boy.
Son, when they quit talking about you, they ain't coming to see you. You ain't doing no good if they ain't talking about you. If they're putting you down, you're all right. But if they start bragging on you, you better look out, you ain't gonna have nobody. I mean, they crucified Christ, you know. At least I'm breathing. I'm a hero. Hell, I've outlived them all. If I get rid of the rest of them, maybe I can make it. What's your name, son?
David.
Nice to meet you. I'm Jerry DeLucio.
Nice to meet you, sir.
In this film, we interviewed Sam Phillips, and we're talking about that Sun Records sound and how many amazing singers came out of that. What was that like in those days?
Well, Sam Phillips and Judd Phillips' brother. Sam Phillips, I would say, would be the keenest, sharpest A&R man or producer or whatever behind the board of any person I've ever seen in my life. He can hear grass growing, you know. Weeds dying, roses blooming, but he's got such an ear for music and such a brainy person, you know. I guess that's why he's worth $100 million. I wish he'd pay me my royalties. He paid me a lot of money, but he owed me $18 million, and admits it. That's ridiculous. And I've never sued a person in my life, and every son of a bitch in this world has sued me. I've been collecting the different things.
What was it like sitting? I mean, at now looking back, you say Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Roy Orbison, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins. It's like an amazing array at Sun Records. At the time, did you think that you were creating history?
Well, I knew I wouldn't like those cats. At least I hoped I would. I mean, I love Carl, I love Johnny, I love these people, Roy and these people, but these people are hillbilly people. They're not rock and roll people. I like rock and roll.
Let's put another one on. We're just ran out.
Is that right?
Yeah, all right, and Mark?
I ain't sticking nothing else up there, brother. Might get my life thrown away. Go ahead.
I want to ask that question again about Sun Records and all the illustrious people that were there and what the difference. You were talking about them being...
They were good people. They still are, what's left of them. Like myself, they're not getting any younger. We're all growing older. At least I think I'm pickled, I don't know. But I know Johnny looks good. Carl looks good. Charlie looks bad here lately. I believe there's something wrong with him.
But you were saying that they were out of a different world. They were a hillbilly.
Well, they're different people. They're from Arkansas. Bad.
What makes it? What makes the difference between that hillbilly music and rock and roll? What was it?
Class. I mean, what's he then that says I play the villain? Jerry Lee Lewis a villain? No way. A hillbilly? Country singer? Yeah. Well, I'm a country boy. But I got some class, too. And I cut up and joke around with a bunch of baloney, but I can get just as serious as hell. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. But nobody wants to talk about hell, you know? Well, the fire never quenches, the worm never dies, weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth. Speak.
Chuck Berry.
There you go again.
I know. But Chuck Berry had a sound. What was the first Chuck Berry song you heard, and what'd you think?
Maybelline, 1953. I thought it was the greatest thing I ever heard. And still do. Matter of fact, Chuck Berry's records on the records I listen to except my own. A couple of Elvises. That's about it. One of Buddy Holly. A couple of Hank Williams, a couple of Al Jolson, Jimmy Rogers, that's it. The rest of them took hind tit.
You know, in that era, the interesting thing was, you know, I guess in the big band era, you had integration of artists. But, you know, in that rock and roll era, you had white artists and black artists traveling together. What was that like?
Good. It would depend on if Lynn Horner or not. What do you think? Are you insinuating Jerry Lee Lewis went out with a colored girl or something?
No.
If you did, you're right. I won't tell my mama about it. This is on film, isn't it? Excuse me.
But those bus tours and so forth, what was the response of your touring various parts of the country where you had?
Killer, we had great tours. I mean, we had Alan Freed, who was a great disc jockey, a great person. Dick Clark, a real fuck up, you know. Excuse me. He's one of my best friends, but he quit playing my records because I married Meyer, you know. But Alan Freed kept playing them. And I created a thing called payola. I shouldn't have said that, should I? That's years ago. I think I passed the limit. Can't get me now. Can I? Okay, I started payola. That's a lie.
But payola did exist.
Jimmy Swagger started. him and Mickey. Paola made it. That's what made it. The Sun Records. Judd Phillips and myself, I have to admit, cranked Paola off and started paying off disc jockeys to play records. I said, Mr. Phillips, you shouldn't do that. That's a sin. He said, it'll pay off, son. So he went to jail.
But those records were great records, so you still had to pay to have them played?
Well, yeah, but everybody wants the money. Everybody wants to be paid, to be appreciated. Not just to draw $80 a week for playing a record, and a star, whoever he is, makes $100,000 off a record, and he gets $80 a week. We see it different. I like to share the money, share the wealth. Sound like what's his name? Was assassinated in Louisiana.
Huey Long.
Yeah, Huey P. Long. Yeah, I know him. Share the wealth. Everybody be rich. That's ridiculous. Ain't nobody gonna be rich but preachers.
What about the business of rock and roll? And when you first started out, I mean, everybody talks about people being taken advantage of. Chuck certainly talked about it.
Well, I've been raped a couple of times, but that's about it. I liked it. And what do you mean taking advantage of?
Well, at the point where rock and roll was first starting, you have, you're young.
We took the advantage. They thought they were taking advantage. We took the advantage. At least we thought we were taking the advantage. I'm beginning to wonder if it was really worth it.
How do you feel now when rock and rollers, people, the English rock and rollers, whoever, look and say that you...
I think that the American disc jockeys turned chicken. Elvis started trying to sing like Bing Crosby. And I said, Elvis, y'all stick more with rock and roll. He said, no, I can't do that now. I said, okay. Me and Chuck Berry stayed rock and roll. We kept pounding. We could get no records played to get nothing going, but we kept playing. But they was playing pretty Bobby this, Bobby Denton, Bobby Benton, Bobby B, Bobby this, Bobby. That's all you could read on the radio charts. So here come the Beatles and shot everybody right out in the middle of the left field, and that was the end of that. I said, I told you boys, somebody's gonna show you a trick. Here they come. It's been a hard day tonight. He's recording me now. I won't steal that song. You girls still in there?
Do you like the fathers of rock and roll image that they give you? I mean, do you look back now and...
I don't claim to be no father of rock and roll. I'm just the daddy-o of it. Grandpappy of it. I started it and I'll end it. Tonight, probably.
What's your favorite Chuck Berry song?
Sorry?
What's your favorite Chuck Berry song?
God, I have several songs. Chuck Berry has written so many great songs. I would say Sweet Little 16. Brown-Eyed Handsome Man. He had 40 #1 records, and he wrote every one of them. That's tough. Ain't nobody topped that yet. He wrote his own songs. We'd be riding on a plane, and Chuck would be sitting by me, and he'd be writing. He had this thing in his ear, a little tape recorder. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm writing a song. I said, what are you writing? He said, I think I'll Sweet Little 16. Johnny Be Good. And he brought the record in and played it for me. And he said, I said, I don't like it. What's on the other side? I think I'll Johnny Be Good. You won't like that. And he played it for me. I said, now there's your record. And he got mad and wanted to fight about it. But he ain't gonna beat Chuck Berry. He's rock and roll from his head to his toes. He's the king of rock and roll. My mama ain't said that. I said, what about me, Mom? She said, well, now, son, you're different. you sang slow songs, fast. I said, well, Chuck Berry's rock and roll. I said, well, all this time I thought I was. He said, well, now you and Elvis are pretty good, but you know Chuck Berry.
When you were first starting out, did you have a day job? I've been asking people this. There were other things.
Oh, I was a thief. I thought I was Jesse James. I'm joking. I was a sewing machine salesman. I sold sewing machines. Good morning, lady. My name is Jerry Lee Lewis from Atlas Sewing Center out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You are the happy winner this week of $50 off on a $200 machine. And by that time, I was in the door. Is your husband home? Is Chuck Berry here?
So when you first started, when did you first become a professional entertainer, musician?
When I lost my virtue. That screwed it up. Been downhill ever since. No, repeat your question, I'm sorry.
When you first started getting paid and became a professional, when you quit your day job and became a...
I was a professional before I even started that. At 8 years old, my boy. I started picking the piano at 8 years old. Picking and a grinning. That's stupid, isn't it? No. 8 years old. I'm like Van Bond in Huntsville, Alabama, who designed his rocket when he's 14 years old, he put on the moon. I said, well, hell, I done that when I was 8 years old. Okay, back to the question.
What do you think of the music of today?
Bullshit. Great. I don't like it. I think it's way out in left field. It's retarded. It's great talent, but being misused. But I think they're getting it together now. They're beginning to play my records again. And Chuck Berry. These are your basic artists. Elvis Presley, he's dead. God rest his soul. Finally got rid of him. Took a long time. But damn, he was a fine person. He was great. He was rock and roll.
What was it, because you all met in Memphis and you were recording there, what was the sound that you were all creating? What was the music you'd heard that you were...
Well, Elvis heard my record on the radio, and I had never met him before, you know. And he was just driving down the road, and he pulled over the side of the road and stopped and listened to it, and he said, I've got to meet this cat. Who is this, you know? He said, what does he look like anyway? He was a funny guy. So he come on down to Sun Records, and I met him, and that's where we put this album down and recorded a lot of stuff together, you know. I'm going down and up. I'm going up, testing, but Elvis Presley was the greatest, one of my best friends. That he was great. What can I say? That son of a bitch could get it. Anybody try to follow him on stage would be a nut. I'll eat him off.
Was it a surprise when you, Elvis, other people that were around recorded these records, and then when you went out and appeared in front of an audience and they went so crazy? How'd you feel at that point?
I didn't know how to feel about it. When they tore all my clothes off one night, I got excited about it because it hurt me. I mean, it scratched me up, and I was bleeding in places, and they pulled some of my hair out. It was real long, you know. And tore all, everything out, everything. Nothing left to be seen. I didn't like that too much. 10,000 women on top of me at once. Well, it was great. Think about it, darling. Think about the good old days.
But it may give you a sense of the power of what you were doing. Were you surprised?
Yeah, I was that night. It scared me. And Elvis, he asked me, he said, "You think I'm playing the devil's music?" I said, "Hell, you are the devil, boy." He said, "Jerry, don't you say it to me no more. Now, you got it." He was very sensitive, very sensitive about going to hell.
Well, that was interesting at that time, though, because there were a lot of people that said rock and roll was the devil's music and so on. But it just,
I couldn't visualize Jesus Christ singing, a whole lot of shaking going on. I couldn't visualize Satan singing it.
Who was singing it? Where did it come from?
Well, now you got me there. I've often wondered that myself. Well, it had to come from God, the Creator. Well, it could have come from Satan. He could have had something to do with the music. I don't know. I would say he must have a lot to do with it, the way it sounds today. The lyrics they use in songs and things. I mean, they've got so far in left field with cursing and suicides and I don't know. It's not music, it's crap.
But the music that you were singing had an exuberance. I mean, it was also about people.
Well, Jerry Lee Lewis was a stylist, creative. Every song, every #1 record I've ever had, had been one take on it, one take, just one cut. Ain't no other artist can say that.
That's amazing.
It's a fact. I swear to God, I'm telling you the truth. Jerry Lee Lewis don't lie. Jerry Lee don't lie, not much. Are you still in there, baby? All right, go ahead. And another thing.
In the sense of those
Excuse
records,
me.
in the sense though of those records, which were so amazing. What's your favorite record of yours?
Big-legged woman. Keep your dresses down. 'Cause you got something, baby, make a bulldog hug a hound. And it went #1. I couldn't believe it. And I just put the record down, playing, cutting up. And they released it. And these kids are listening to this record now.
Jerry Lee Lewis, in addition to the singing and all...
That's not Jerry Lee Lewis, though.
No, but the singing and the records and all that performance style. That's the other thing about rock and roll is performance style. And you have a performance style as strong as anybody ever has. I mean, how did you perfect that? Where did it come from?
I'll never tell. From the soul. From the depths of the soul. Using this whole body that God gave me here on earth to project and deliver the message from the soul. And that worries me, if I'm wrong or right. If I'm really using my talent in the right direction. I don't want to mislead anybody. See what I mean? Jerry Lee Lewis is very dangerous.
How so?
I don't know. Women. Music. I love you, baby. Watch me get out of this one.
Do you have a sense of power, though, when you're up there performing in front of those kids in the 50s and they responded that way?
Watch me tonight. Pass out probably my first thing. I'm the greatest artist sitting in this chair. Fooled you, didn't I? I started saying the world, but I'm not.
In terms of style, in terms of rock and roll styles, that percussive piano, using the piano as an instrument with the voice. I mean, you and I guess Richard pioneered that.
Richard first, yeah. He was so great. He still is. He's coming back, you know. He's quitting preaching now and went back to rocking again. He, about like me, gets a little confused sometimes. What do you want, son? Well, I can't read finger signs.
I was trying to see him. We got to go.
Okay,
You using my act now, wiggle it around a little?
You got to go on
Well,
stage.
he knows what that meant if he could sing.
Well,
I'm
if you'll
sorry.
jack me up, I'll jack my own self out there.
We'll wrap this. We'll wrap this up. Just one last question, Jerry. In terms of, you were just talking about that. In terms of,
Jerry Lee Lewis, Al Jolson, Hank Williams, Jimmy Rogers. There's your stylist. The rest of them were just musicians, singers.
you flirted from rock and roll to country. Why?
I go country, I go rock, easy listening, pop, gut bucket blues, religious music. I can do any of it. Classical. I can play piano with my ass, with my legs, with my feet, with my elbows, and I'm not pushing it any further. I'm gonna close my last show out with playing it with my dick. I don't believe I said that.
We got to go.
All right.
You shouldn't have cut me off like it hurt my feelings.
Well, you got to.
You got to get on stage. Thank
Hey,
you.
I'm gonna show you a trick. Come here.
Might have.
Ha!
Damn leg pop again.
Every time I pop it.
Don't pick it up on.
We got it.
Excuse me, guy. I got to get his
Got it
jacket.
out.
I need
All
to-
right. Sorry. JW, thank you.
Sure.
Jerry?
Thank you, Jerry.